Oh, I haven't even gone live yet. Then this. Hopefully there's something good. But I mean, they released 2 good games, and we already know the other 2 good games coming out this year, so
Hello,
they probably have
viewers.
nothing.
I am Ivy the android. I'd like to share today's dinosaur forecast. A dinosaur outbreak will soon occur. Residents in the affected area have been evacuated, and a team of exofighters has been dispatched. A vortex warning has been issued. Please remain indoors.
I would just much rather the dinosaur horror game. What's it called? No, not Death Ground.
I make a sensitive situation.
Dino Crisis.
You've been living fighting the chief directors for 2 years.
All I wanted was to be IBS's top pilot.
IBS's latest dinosaur forecasts and exosuit technology were able to keep human casualties to 0.
Oh!
Exosuit development is proceeding under the guidance of the next-gen AI, Leviathan.
Is this just DLC for that one game?
Meanwhile, IBS continues to recruit candidates to become new exofighters, humanity's greatest hope.
What was that game called? That's what it's called. I only played it for a day or 2, and there was weird old That's kind of like its defense force. Exo Primal. Yeah, never mind.
Another exofighter recruit, right? Welcome to IBS.
State of Play returns with more announcements and updates for your favorite games. We just saw the debut of Exo Primal, a brand new IP from Capcom. It hits PS4 and PS5 next year. Next up, let's get some eye-popping updates for some fan favorites launching soon.
こいつは大勢の魂を借り集め、それを利用して冥界と現世をつなごうとしている。
あいつはこの先に一体何を見ているっていうんだ。
行くぞ。黄泉の国はまだ先だ。なんだか盛り上がってきたな。
こんなことが許されるはず。
あいつを止めない限り終わらない。
死んだのか。
体をよこせ。妹は助けてやる。終わらせるぞ。秋田。
で、来るんだろ一緒に。
I don't know. People are hyped for this game. I just don't know if I'm sold on the combat though. Oh shit! It's coming out this month. It's not really long. Demos available today.
Later today, visit PlayStation Store to download a new demo for Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Now, let's jump into the world of Forspoken with some all-new gameplay.
I don't know, that looks iffy.
It is quite beautiful.
Yeah, in a everything here wants to kill you kind of way.
Stop with the cool games. Just put me in a hallway and give me good gameplay and a decent story. I think so, I like Castro.
Let's finish this.
You better buckle up. I'm in a whole nother dimension.
So I mean, it looks cool. I'm just so over open world, like 90%.
That was a new
world
look at the sprawling PS5
isn't
adventure
worth
Forspoken
exploring
from Luminous Productions.
for most games.
Let's check out some 6v6 action in Gundam Evolution, a
Oh,
fast-paced multiplayer shooter coming to PS4 and PS5 later this year.
Yeah, I'll pass. So they're kind of hoping that Overwatch 2 is trash and they just fill the hole. Just online competitive games are so hard, they die so quickly if there's not a huge player base.
Kaiju Brawler Giga Bash comes to PS4 and PS5.
I mean, I
later
guess they
this year.
did say it was going to be a bunch of Asian
Next,
games.
a fan favorite fighting
or
game makes a
Japanese
beautiful
games.
and bizarre return.
And they're definitely that. I feel like creating fighting games is kind of cheap. Because like, no matter what, like the fighting game community like plays every single fighter ever made. Until they get bored of it and then move on to the next one. While keeping a few like better off games that they always go back to. Jesus Christ.
Our next two games will take you beyond life and death.
So this is like very Sifu vibes. I'm assuming if they're actually naming its big names. I feel like unironically, like Devolver has become like one of the more reliable
in an endless
studios
cycle.
for publishers to
Fighting, dying,
I can't remember the last
returning.
Devolver game where I didn't at least enjoy myself.
Always the
playing.
same, yet always changing.
Astra, I'm not alone. Not anymore.
Now I stand before the endless tower. I climb as Sisyphus did, pushing the boulder upward. No matter how high I climb, the challenge begins again.
Was it a roguelike?
But I fight on, through the infinite. Seeking answers. Seeking Ascension. My release is within this tower, and I will find it.
Oh, it's Elden Ring? Sure. Oh, Returnal. I've always heard people talk about it on the podcast I listened to. I had no idea what it was, though. Update 3.0. Wait, it's already out?
Housemarque is bringing campaign co-op and a mysterious new survival mode to Returnal Ascension, a free update hitting this March. It's almost time to sign off, but before we do, let's get a first look at 2 brand new games coming from Square Enix.
Is
What's
this
the
really
actual
what you want?
reviews of Returnal?
And you are certain that what we are doing is best for the people of the kingdom?
Yes.
Returnal.
I suppose it would, in a sense.
Open.
True. Yes. It made me wonder. Am I still that same person?
I mean, it has like a 86.
The era of myths gives way to an era of great turmoil.
How did I miss that
The
game?
continent was ravaged by the devastating war between the Empire and the Alliance. However, one nation remained unaffected by the chaos. The Kingdom of Alatane.
Apparently not.
Ward of the August.
I didn't even realize it got released.
Destined to have its soil stained with the blood of battle.
We've finally been called up.
We're up against the Empire's main army.
We are to eradicate every last Imperial who comes ashore. Keep focused.
Come on, everyone!
And now you will die.
Do you really have such a yearning for war? I can't comprehend it.
So then, what shall we do now?
We're going to retake it.
This is our chance while they're all assembled. We should send our best and crush them.
That's right. All the more reason to avoid bloodshed. It also likely means that we're in danger. I suppose it is the only way for us to survive.
I'll pass.
If the will to fight still lingers within you,
That looks so
then
bad.
accept my offer and join me.
Valkyrie, heed my words. Ragnarok tears our world asunder. All we hold precious lies on the brink of annihilation. Become my tool of intervention and save this world from doom.
Your efforts to remain undetected are lacking. Reveal yourself. Who are you?
Might help if she wasn't wearing high heels while she was trying to sneak
That's all
around.
for today. We'll see you soon with another State of Play.
Okay. I mean, there was a couple things in there that weren't bad, I guess. But other than that, I thought there was gonna be like some kind of like Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy Part 2 news, since it was all Japanese. Guess not. Yeah, okay. Do I want to do this, or do I just want to play fucking Elden Ring? I only have an hour and a half. I guess we can do this. That one. I mean, that's a good way to start off, I guess. Oh, I have to move my camera, though. Okay. Zoom, please. Am I the asshole for not wanting to give my in-laws a share of my lottery winnings when my wife said I definitely should? I equally divided it with my two siblings, my parents, and myself. Four-way split. My wife is currently fuming at the fact that her parents weren't included in the equation. I married her, not her goddamn parents. Just to get it out of the way, my in-laws didn't exactly like me since day one. What made me angry is how my wife is saying I'm not the man she thought I was, and I'm doing this as revenge of sorts. Well, tough fucking tits, I guess. Am I really the asshole here? I mean, I guess he's not obligated to give his wife's parents money, although you did give your parents money. So it's kind of weird to like, because it should be like your wife and you won the lottery. Like you didn't just win the lottery, right? But I guess I could see the argument either way. But I mean, like it seems like he has an attitude, like, well, tough fucking tits, I guess. That kind of makes you the asshole. But it makes sense that your wife would also want her parents to get some money, since you're a couple and you're supposed to share things equally, right? And then you say, like, I married her, not her goddamn parents, just to get it out of the way. My in-laws didn't exactly like me since day one. And then he says, what made me angry is my wife is saying I'm not the man she thought I was, and I'm doing this as a revenge. I mean, your first sentence makes it sound like you're doing it out of revenge because her parents didn't like you from the get-go. But I mean, like, it's kind of an asshole, but I guess it's his money. But, like, does his wife and him, like, have separate bank accounts? Tell her she's welcome not to share her lottery win with your parents to make it fair. That's so weird, though. Like, it's... Oh, thanks, Ayush. That's so weird. Like, it is her lottery win. Like, you're married. You're supposed to... I don't understand that mindset. Where you live, is this considered a marital asset, as in your wife is entitled by law to half the winnings? Because if so, and you split it 4 ways with 3/4 going to your family, a quarter to you, and none to her, then you are the asshole for sure. She should get half, and then with your half, you're free to share that with your family as you see fit, and she can do the same with her half. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know how your wife isn't getting any money for her to do with what she wants. Seems weird. In most places in the world, you're married. There's no my money winnings, no matter if you keep separate bank accounts. The law would see it differently since this isn't money you had prior to marriage. It's so weird that this isn't nearly as upvoted as the other one. I've seen the same thing, legal things aside. News story, blah, blah, blah. The law may see it as her share too, but OP's still not the asshole here. Entitled wife is. She's not being entitled. I mean, I guess she is, but she's literally entitled to that money. I would say no. If they're married and filing taxes together, she's going to be taxed on that income. If she has student loans, her repayment is based on marital income. There's a lot riding on the income of your spouse in most places. Yeah, I don't understand. Your finances are now merged when you get married. Like, trying to keep it separate just doesn't make sense to me. That would be like him selling their house and saying, I sold the house, so I get to decide what's done with the money. It might be only legally hers and only legally. I mean, that's a pretty big issue if the money is legally hers. I don't know the situation, but imagine they had a deal that they split basic income 50-50, talked about lottery, and wife said, nah, not want to spend any of my 50% on a ticket. So, like, when you go do groceries, are you going to, like, buy your food and then he buys his food and get upset if he starts eating your food or if she starts eating his food? Like, what? That's insane logic. He wins and gets the money, so legally hers too in that case, but morally clearly not. Okay, maybe beforehand if they had a conversation where, like, you can only use your money to buy the lottery tickets, I want nothing to do with it. That doesn't seem like a reasonable discussion to have. Like, no one's going to have that discussion beforehand. What a fucking Jesus Christ. You're making assumptions. OP didn't say it was their money. Even in marriage, you can have separate finances. Marriages with separate finances are weird. To me, at least. I know it might work for some people. Not the asshole. She can give some from her portion of what she gets in the divorce. I fucking hate Reddit sometimes. If you're going to get married and your marriage is going to crumble because of a lottery win, you probably shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. What was the percent win, or the percent? 59% not the asshole. Okay, Reddit. I really want to see if they switch it to the wife wins the lottery and doesn't give the money to the husband, if Reddit would still think she's not the asshole. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to take care of our newborn during the night hours while she's on maternity leave? My wife works at a company that gives 16 weeks of paid maternity leave. 4, 8, 12, 16. That's only 4 months. That's weird. In Canada, you get like 6 months minimum, up to a year, I think. 16 weeks is hella short. I only asked her that during that 16-week time period that she take care of the baby during the midnight hours while I sleep, since I have to wake for work Monday to Friday. I told her that after I get off work, I will take over entirely, do all the chores, cook, take care of the baby, and even more so on weekends where I have no issue staying up late, waking up early or multiple times in the night for her to catch up on all of her needed rest. I also know that some nights, even if I'm working, I will stay up with the baby, but she still thinks it's unfair. If it's not an even split, which I disagree with, be honest, I may be the asshole, I just want opinions. That one's tough. So logically, that makes sense. And I don't think you're the asshole. It's going to depend on how the conversation went, though. Because while that might logically make sense that you're working during the day, so you want to be able to sleep through the night, to work during the day, and when you come home, take care of the kid. I feel like having a kid the first couple of months is really emotional for everyone involved. So you just may not be able to emotionally be able to handle waking up in the middle of the night all the time while your spouse is staying asleep. So I don't think he's the asshole. I don't think anybody's the asshole in this situation. I guess it just really depends on the tone of the conversation. You're the asshole. What exactly is she doing during the day while you're at work? Daydreaming and looking after newborn during the day alone is stressful. She'll be deeply postpartum, healing, and you expect her to get up every night, Monday to Friday. I get it. You're working. I'm the breadwinner in the family, but you know what? You get at work, an entire lunch break to do whatever you want. I mean, the kid will also be sleeping a lot. He'll be waking up during the sleeping, but he'll also be sleeping a lot during the day. An entire lunch break to do whatever you want. You get to piss whenever you want. If something is over your head, you have colleagues to help you. Your office isn't dependent completely on you. Looking after a child is emotionally, mentally draining, far more than work. I mean, you can't say that. It depends what you do for work. Those tiny humans can bring you up to your knees, bring you to your knees in an hour on a bad day. You get to walk out of the office and leave work behind. Again, no, you don't. Depends on the job. Even when you come home, her work is still there, streaming. Man up and help out at night. The idea that she can just walk away when he steps in the door is laughable. Parenting isn't interchangeable. Letting your wife have a nap and take a shower is not giving her a break. It's allowing her basic needs, and more men need to understand that. Okay, so... Wait. So in that case, the husband just never gets to have a nap? Because when he comes home, he has to take care... Because if he would come home and take a nap to take care of his basic needs, he'd be an asshole because he was just at work all day while his wife was taking care of the child. So when he comes home, he's supposed to take care of the child, but to take care of his basic needs, he would take a nap. But then he'd be the asshole because he's not helping watch the kid. You know, when he gets home from work, he needs time to unwind and take a 40-minute dump. Happens every time. I mean, this guy's saying he wouldn't do that. I mean, if he would do that, he would be the asshole. But I mean, that just goes to show that he's not going to be able to take a nap or take a break for his basic needs either. You work 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., 13 hours corrected. She works 10 p.m. to 6 p.m., 20 hours. You get 8 hours of sleep. She gets 4 hours. You get alone time during the day. She does not. You get help at work. She does not. Need those facts and tell me if it sounds like... I just really don't like children questions. It's always so heated. She needs rest just as much as you do. Getting a bit of sleep on weekends doesn't come close to making up for being up nights all week. Also, in a few short weeks, she will presumably be going back to work, so you both... Not in a short few... In 16 weeks. Can they not fucking read? Might as well start how you mean to finish. I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. I think I'm going with not the hassle because working out newborn care is really hard, but you need to consider that she's also healing physically from a pretty big event and needs sleep to heal just as much as you do. Yeah, like, I don't think he's the asshole for this conversation. It just depends how it went. You're the asshole. The way I see it, your wife is going to have a job on daytime, taking care of the baby in the house with the newborn. I call this a job considering the huge amount of mental and physical work it takes while recovering from pregnancy, while you have your job on daytime as well. Except you ask her to do this job while not having at least one night of full rest, which means a daytime job and a nighttime job. I mean, but he's saying that she won't have to take the care of the child once he comes home from work until he falls asleep. So she would get a break then. To me, it doesn't add up. Sleep is important, especially while recovering. Your support and involvement is important from the start. You'll both be working during the day. She'll be with the baby all day. You're at your place of employment. You get home and you'll get help out. Great. Oh, I forgot the music. God damn it.
1, 2, 3. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have.
She'll be with the baby all day. You're at your place of employment. You get home and you'll get help out. Great. And then after you're staying, she has to keep working through the night while you sleep. She needs to sleep too, though. So yes, you should really be helping out during the night because otherwise it's her working. I don't understand. She wouldn't be working in the afternoon or like at the night when he gets home. I think we got it though. What's the split on that one? Oh, that's the wrong one. $57. See, that's insane to me that this has like the same you're the asshole percent, lower you're the asshole percent. Because this one I can understand why people would say you're the asshole compared to the lottery winning one. That's a higher you're the asshole. No, a lower. I got it mixed up. You know what I mean. Am I the ass? Nope. This one. Am I the asshole for telling my sister I hate the name she chose for her baby right before her baby shower? Yes. I don't even need to read this one. Am I the asshole for telling my sister I hate the name she chose for her baby? Yeah. Last week, my sister, 22, had a baby shower, and my family and I, 20 female, were there to help her set up and decorate. Everything was going well. We were blowing up balloons and setting plates, etc. That is until I saw a huge sign with the words Strummer Azriel Quinn. I was confused and asked my sister about it, and she told me it was the name she decided on her baby. Strummer as a first name. I mean, that's definitely a weird choice. I generally don't care what parents name their kids, but we're not celebrities, and as the child's aunt, I thought I would try to save it the embarrassment. I suggested maybe not putting up a sign and then taking time to think more about the name as a family. She got upset and said it was a perfectly fine name and she wanted the sign to be hung up. My mom came over to see what the problem was, and after I explained the situation, she got mad at me for creating problems and said it didn't matter if I liked the name or not. They told me to leave since I was ruining her big day, and I haven't spoken to my sister since. So I think we can all agree that that name is fucking terrible. But it's a baby shower, and you're telling your sister that her kid's name is fucking bad is an asshole thing to do. It might have been coming from a good place, but like, yeah, you just can't really. Unless it was like a super offensive name, which I don't think this is. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can't say anything. It's kind of like when you see like a picture of a baby, even if the baby's ugly as hell, you can't say the baby's ugly. You just have to be like, oh, isn't that so cute? It's, I'm from Scotland and strumming is a slang for female masturbation. I mean, that really doesn't matter. They're not in Scotland. Not the asshole who the fuck wants to be born and instantly lose the game of life by being named Strummer? Other kids will be ruthless and bullied. Kids will probably end up thanking you if mom budges and changes his name. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. I guess everyone sucks here is fine because the name sucks. But you can't say it during a fucking baby shower. The kid's gonna get bullied. I don't... It's a weird name. Maybe I'm not creative enough to bully someone over it though.
Let's go.
Hey, what's the percentage? It's pretty much all saying the same thing. Not the asshole, 43%. That's insane. If like everybody sucks here was 43%, that would make sense, but not the asshole at 43. Fucking Reddit, Jesus. Am I the asshole for saying I have experienced sexism at work? Probably not. So at work today, 30 male was talking, oh that's why people have a problem with it. Was talking with a couple of female coworkers about bad experiences we've had at past jobs. We eventually got to the point where they started talking about a lot of the shit they've had to go through as women. I agreed and said I'm very fortunate that I've only had one experience in my working life where I have experienced a form of sexism. They were curious, so they asked about it. But the short version of the story is that when I was 25 at a previous job, a female coworker who I really didn't know came up to me and commented that I had put on some weight. Not only that, but she patted my stomach while doing so. That's kind of messed up. I was really stunned in the moment and didn't react. But after I had composed myself, I told my executive director about it. He said he'd speak to my coworker about it, that I should probably just let it go because her culture is just more intimate and physical. Oh, that's kind of weird. When I finished telling my current coworkers the story, one of them, V, asked, so where was the sexism? It doesn't seem to me like there was anything really there. I asked her what she meant, and her response was, well, it's not like you went through a super traumatic experience or anything. I mean, sexism doesn't need to be super traumatic, though. And I told her I knew I didn't, and that I was aware that this was nothing compared to the sexual harassment many women go through, but I still felt comments made him change his mind. I agree that I'm not really sure where the sexism comes in inappropriate 100%, but it doesn't really seem like what you experience was due to your gender. Transgenders of OP and tummy patting coworker. Do you think for a moment any boss would allow a man to pat a woman's stomach and comment on their weight? The sexism is the idea that it's okay for a woman to comment on a man's weight, but not for the opposite. Yes, I think many bosses would allow it because it already happens and worse. Just take a look through these comments. Maybe I've just worked at good workplaces. I don't think that would fly in most workplaces. To just walk up to someone and be like, wow, you're fat, and rub their stomach, that just seems like so inappropriate for work. Maybe it's different in America? Yeah, okay, so same thing. It's inappropriate but not sexism. It's odd that you say if you were a female, the guy would have been fired, but men do that and worse all the time and they never get fired. I feel like that's slowly changing though. It's unfortunate what you went through and it wasn't right, but you're not a victim of sexism. Your assumption that the boss would have reacted differently is wrong because women get actually groped in a sexual manner by male coworkers who do not get in any way reprimanded all the time. If your boss has told you to take it like a man, or if anyone related your weight to your gender, that might have. I mean, the boss did just tell him to let it go. Yeah, I guess that's fair. It's not sexism, it's just definitely harassment, though. What happened to you wasn't appropriate at work, for sure, but it wasn't sexist. What you experienced could be called hostile work environment. Not even that, just fucking straight up harassment. Am I the asshole for eating a cake that I made myself? I'm a relatively good baker, and my family enjoys the cakes and confectionery that I make, especially my chocolate devil's food cake. I don't like cake, not a fan. One day, my mom asked me if I could bake a cake for her, a devil's food cake one, if she bought the ingredients. I thought that her buying the ingredients wasn't necessary, but I agreed that I would make one for her once I had the time, since it takes me about 3 hours to make the cake with all the icing. And now we already see where the issue comes in, because his mom bought the ingredients. She's going to be upset that he ate it because he didn't pay for it, even though he spent 3 hours making it for her. Fast forward a few days, I made the cake for her with icing, decorations, and all the shebang. Then I delivered to her. She was happy with it. The next week, I visited her house because I left some of my personal belongings there, and I decided to stay over for a few days. The next morning, when I decided to check the refrigerator, I saw that my cake was still there, whole and uneaten. I was a bit confused by it, but I shrugged it off. Wait, how long ago was this? Oh, just the next week, okay. I decided not to talk to my mom about it, however, because she might have just forgotten about it. 2 days later, I saw that the cake was still there, no slices out of it whatsoever. I thought I would grab a slice for myself since it hasn't been touched yet. Anyway, about an hour later, my mom practically yelled at me for eating some of the cake, and I retaliated with the fact that she didn't eat any of it anyway. Same going for my siblings who still live with her. She told me that she didn't care and that I shouldn't have eaten her cake. I was a little pissed at this, as I was the one who took the time to make it, but I apologized anyway. Now she's wanting me to make her a full new cake to replace the one I had eaten a slice of. Am I the asshole? To clarify, my mom did pay for the ingredients. The cake was on its own in the middle of the refrigerator and was not stale, except for a little bit of hard icing. Who gets a cake just to let it sit there? I don't understand. So I could see him being the asshole is if his mom had that cake for like an event or like a work party or something where she was going to bring the cake and now she really can't with the piece taken out of it. But if you're just letting it sit in your fridge for no reason, I don't see how he's the asshole here because he spent time making it as well. Honestly, I'm surprised the cake was even still edible after that long. Your mom never specified why she wanted the cake and just left it there to rot. If she was ordering for an event, she would have told you so, and then she berated you for your own lack of communication. However, you should have asked her why she hadn't touched it or why she even wanted it in the first place if she was just going to let it sit there. You shouldn't have just helped yourself even though you made it for her. It was a gift, it was her house. Why did you not ask her? Mom has no obligation to tell OP why she wanted the cake, nor any obligation to actually eat the cake if she doesn't want to. She paid for the ingredients. She accepted delivery of the cake, and that cake is it as far... Maybe I just have a better relationship with my parents. But like, I feel like anything in my house, or like anything in their house, like if I go to their house, I can eat anything, or like use anything, and it won't be a problem. Or they can come to my house and eat anything and use anything without a problem. I don't think you even have to ask her why she hadn't touched it or why she wanted it in the first place. If she's just going to let it sit there, that seems kind of like passive aggressive. You could have just asked her if you could have a slice of the cake, because she might have been saving it for an event. We have more. Maybe? Nope. Deleted. You're the asshole. You agreed to make her a cake. She paid for the ingredients. That doesn't mean you can just eat it without asking. You don't know her plans for the cake. Maybe she wanted it for an occasion. That was rude of you to just help yourself to slice the uncut cake at someone else's house. It's your mom's house too. This would be unreasonable for a close friend, but for your own mother? Exactly. Like, my parents buy food that they don't like specifically in case I drop by so I can just come in and eat food. I don't understand this weird notion that you can't have food at your parents' house because they can eat food at your house. Like, I don't get it. Also, she paid for the ingredients, but you made it. I think it all comes down to if it wasn't an event, like a cake for an event, then you're the asshole. If she just wanted it for herself, then you're not the asshole. She didn't tell me why she didn't eat any of it. There wasn't an event that I knew of, and the cake was surprisingly not stale. It was a bit off, and I mean a little bit. Some of the icing. To answer, no, she doesn't like stale cake. You couldn't, I don't know, ask. Yeah, you could have asked if there was an event. If there was an event, then I feel like that cake is fair game. That's pretty much the ruling on that one, right? 41% you're the asshole. I disagree completely. Maybe a little bit, but not really. Then again, it's Reddit, so they're all probably like teenagers who have like, it's the most like strained relationship with your parents is going to be for a while. Assuming you're going to end up with a healthy relationship. Oh, no, screw that. This one's a lot more juicy. Aw, why? Why was it removed? Wait, what? Oh, come on. Am I the asshole for refusing to have a relationship with my stepdad even though he's nice to me? Oh, I thought it was saying his stepdad was 15 years old. But no, he's 15 years old. And not nearly as interesting and captivating. Why do all the good ones... Am I the asshole for wanting to name my kids after Harry Potter? I feel like a lot of the names are normal. Depends on the name you wanted. The title might make me look like an asshole, but please bear with me. So my wife is pregnant and we're having a twin. I suggested the names Fred and George if they're both boys, and Lily and Molly for girls. My wife is okay with Lily and Molly since we both have multiple deceased relatives in extended families with those names and would be honoring them first and book names later. But she called me an asshole for wanting to name our kids after some book character and would not discuss why. Honestly don't understand their point of view since it's not like those, it's not on the nose like Crumb, Filch, or Dumbledore. Yeah, Fred and George are fucking normal names. Who cares if it's named after books? You need ideas for kids' names. As long as it's not like absurd like Dumbledore, who cares where you get the name from? I've also not really a fan of naming kids after relatives. Because I have part of my name is after a relative and I fucking hate that relative, so it kind of sucks to have his name. I already dropped Fred and George when she rejected. Just when I first suggested, she immediately called me an asshole, thus the post. You're the asshole, your children are people, not billboards for celebrating your fandom. Oh, fuck off. You don't want to burden your kids with names that are very recognizable from books. Fred and George aren't fucking recognizable from books. They're side characters in a book and they're normal names. Also, if Fred dies in the book, how do you think that'll affect your kid named Fred? I don't think he'll fucking care. I think the point with Lily and Molly is that they're both moms in Harry Potter, so the Harry Potter connection is easy to deny. Deny for twins? Wait, what? But Fred and George and twins in the story too. Lily and Molly are fine, but if you name boy twins Fred and George, you're burdening them with an aging cultural reference. They'll be left explaining their whole lives. I mean, if it's an aging cultural reference, no one will get it, so they won't have to explain it. It's so weird to me that people are okay with naming them Lily and Molly, but not Fred and George. How is one fine, but the others aren't? Every time your sons would be introduced together, they would have to deal with the painfully obvious realization that you named them after Harry Potter. They will be people that have embarrassing names when they're together. Why not pull something like Fred and Theodore? Like, if you're going to name them after book characters, people will make the connection anyways, like, or George and Harry and James and Charlie. Certain things come from the world you like, but aren't going to be immediately obvious to everybody. I don't know, how is Harry from Harry Potter not going to be more recognizable? Jesus Christ, the Hitler joke. Oh yeah, not the asshole, but I think you're a bit clueless. She's angry because she feels like you're not taking this seriously. Naming a child is a big responsibility. Yeah, somewhat, not really. And she wants it to be meaningful. It's a fucking name, there doesn't have to be meaning to it, it just has to be something you like. But you don't seem to be putting a lot of thought into it. The names you pick are perfectly fine as names, but it's about the thought behind it, that's why she's upset. Is there really nothing more meaningful and inspiring in your life? Why do children names need to be meaningful or inspiring? Why can't they just be nice names that you like? That's putting a lot of fucking weight on a name. For not accepting your wife's opinion, yes, he didn't say he didn't accept it, he just wanted to know if he was the asshole for suggesting it. Okay, I guess I'm in the minority for that one. I want my nieces to go to the zoo with my family, but not the other. Ooh, spicy. Picking favorites. My throat. Okay. My sister and brother-in-law adopted Izzy, who is 7 years ago. Izzy is very heavily special needs. She's severely autistic, developmentally delayed, and has physical health issues that make it so her bones break very easily. She can't walk for more than a few minutes at a time, and she gets tired easily. Then she has a meltdown when she's too tired from walking for 10 minutes. Izzy has a half-sister, Emily, who is 4, that they adopted at birth. So far, Emily is normal. Okay, that's somewhat a problematic thing to say, but I understand where he's coming from. And that takes like so much. Like, I couldn't adopt that child, so that's like huge props to the people who did. My brother, his wife, my wife, and I. Wait, what? My brother, his wife, my wife, and I took her kids, 7 kids ranging from 4 to 10 years old, to the zoo with a huge playground and mini amusement park, maybe 10 rides attached. We thought Emily would like it and thought it would be a good opportunity for her to see her cousins, so I called my sister and invited her and Emily to the zoo with us. She said yes, and that Izzy and Emily are going to be excited. I told her Izzy wasn't invited, and all hell broke loose. She asked why, and I told her I already know how this trip will go if she brings Izzy. We'll get there and Izzy will cry because there's too many people / it's too loud. Then she'll get upset because her sister and all her cousins get to walk and she doesn't, so she'll scream and cry until my sister lets her walk. Then Izzy will get tired and have a meltdown. She'll calm down, go back in the stroller. She puts them in a double stroller because it's easier than a stroller and wheelchair, and because Izzy's incredibly tiny, it still fits in one. Then get mad again when her sister and cousins go to the petting zoo, playground, and on the rides without her. Plus, I wanted Emily and her cousins to have some fun without worrying if Izzy will get hurt, or have a meltdown, or lose her temper. My sister called me an ableist jackass and said that if Izzy isn't invited because of her disabilities, Emily won't be allowed to go either. That sparked an argument because I said she shouldn't have adopted Emily if Izzy's always going to come before her, and we haven't spoken since. She announced that her family will not go to any family functions if I will be there, and told a heavily exaggerated version of what happened to my parents. Word spread to her extended family that I'm excluding Izzy because she has special needs, and most of the family is taking her side. So I wanted to know if I was the asshole. Okay, so can kind of come off ableist, and it doesn't help that you called Emily normal and Izzy not normal. That's kind of ableist. However, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to want to have time with just Emily and not Izzy. So, for example, like, I have a nephew and a niece. So if I wanted to take my nephew to go see Star Wars, my niece is too young to go see Star Wars, so I wouldn't take her. But then, so my niece wouldn't feel left out, I would take my niece to go do something else, right? That seems fair. So I feel like you could have went about this a different way. I feel like you should have like offered to take Emily to go to the zoo, and then at the same time offered to take Izzy someplace else another day. So it was like they had one-on-one time together, and it wasn't just completely excluding Izzy. So I think Izzy was kind of the asshole in the situation. Okay, not that. That's so long. I agree with all of this. Okay, maybe I should read. I'm autistic, but not so incapacitated that I'm non-verbal and throw tantrums when I don't get my way. That said, I am wary of any ableism, and what you propose could be taken that way. It could be. However, you're not the asshole because you explained that it wasn't the best interest of Izzy, the autistic child with extreme social needs, to be in a place that role simulator, blah 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 blah. You need to be clear that everything is family, and if they're not familiar with Izzy, what she can be like, at her worst, then they should go for the past judgment. I understand where Izzy's mother is coming from. She has to be your child's number one fan and defender. That is what a good mother is. But being a good parent is something separate and should be more evaluative of what is good holistically for the family unit. I would recommend you reaching out to your sister, apologize, and say that you'd like to invite Izzy to a special family event more tailored to what she needs as an autistic child. This would be a good chance for others in the family to witness her at her worst. But give her... I mean, that's a weird way to put it. That's like setting her up for failure to show the family what an awful child she is. This would be a good chance for others in the family to witness her at her worst, but give her and her mother the opportunity to be at their best. Izzy is blameless in all of this, and so is her sister Emily, who's unaware that she's normal compared to her sister, probably, and that unawareness won't last long. As family, it is best if you all get on the same page about how Izzy's treated, since children pick up on that and leads to bullying or isolating. Thank you for the replies and nice things to say. I'm only editing this comment to put a spotlight on a better comment than mine, in my opinion. OP seems to be ableist and resistant to changing their perspective on that. I regret not addressing this in my initial comment when I saw them use language like normal among other things. Yeah, it was pretty... I mean, it was kind of subtle, but not really. That it definitely came across as ableist. I didn't feel qualified to call it out articulate. I can't even say that word. And I also didn't want to rock the boat in a sense, since all I wanted was for OP to repair relationships with family. I thought OP may have been misguided, but heart was in the right place. Not so sure anymore. If you're reading this, please take a time to learn about ASD. I think there's no autistic people in your life. They're not identical. Okay, got it. What was the better comment? I agree that OP is an asshole for only inviting one niece. But I think OP is absolutely the asshole overall. Yeah, that's what I thought. Saying things like, so far Emily is normal, and other descriptions of Izzy and her behavior make it pretty clear that OP isn't an ableist jackass. Also saying Izzy isn't invited, and I know how this day will go, are rude and condescending. Try, I don't think Izzy will have fun, or there's going to be a lot of walking. Do you think Izzy can handle that? If there were already 4 adults going with 7 kids, then it may have been a better option to ask if you could bring Emily along instead of inviting mom and expecting her to leave one of her kids behind. I missed that. I thought he was just inviting the kid. It could be hard enough for families planning out childcare. Adding special needs is an extra layer of issues. If mom is still wanting to insist on bringing both girls, I do think it's fair for you to raise your concerns. But stop framing it as Izzy's going to cry and scream the whole time. I acknowledge it is as Izzy being frustrated and overwhelmed and unable to participate in some activities. I mean, I think that's splitting hairs. It really doesn't matter. Discuss what you guys are willing to do if there are meltdowns. Maybe mom could take Izzy to go sit down or take a walk separately while the other adults take Emily and your kids continue with the activity. You don't need to include Izzy every time, but you make it pretty clear that you see adapting to her needs as a hassle and an annoyance. You should try to include her in some activities, and then your sister might be more open to your suggestion about leaving her behind. My sister doesn't let them take either of her kids out without her or her husband because she thinks I'll try to poison her against them or Izzy. Why does she think that? I feel like there's more to the story that he's not talking about. And she doesn't let Emily go to any family event where Izzy isn't invited. I saw her talking to Emily about why she can't go to the park with her cousins, and she was talking about how she wouldn't like it if all of her friends at school went to the park without her and Izzy. And Izzy would feel the same way if Emily and their cousins went without her, even though the situations are nothing alike. I feel like we're getting into the weeds on this one. I feel like it's fine to not invite both of your nieces to an event, but if you want to invite one niece to one event, then you should have another event lined up for your other niece. Not doing so kind of makes you the asshole. And I need to get more water. Okay. Am I the asshole for getting my husband... Am I the asshole for... Oh, this is so long. Am I the asshole for getting upset with my husband for hiring a cleaning service? So this has been on my mind for a while, and I generally can't see if I'm in the wrong / overreacting. Okay, so she's a 33-year-old female, he's a 34-year-old male. My husband struggles to consistently help out around the house. We both have full-time jobs and no kids, but both of our jobs are well over 40 hours a week and require a lot of nights and weekends. Because of this, we try to clean / do things around the house when we can fit it in, and it's usually not at the same time as each other. The only thing he will do consistently is the dishes, which I really appreciate. I mean, that's kind of a low bar, but when it comes to the rest of the house, I end up doing everything. We have a lot of pets, so the house needs constant vacuuming and mopping. I bring this up to him all the time, and he promises to get better. But 3 days later, he's back to doing nothing. Yeah, it seems like he's kind of a dick. He'll frequently use the excuse, I didn't know what needed to be done, you didn't say you needed help with anything. I mean, it's your fucking house, like, cleaning when it's dirty, I don't know why you need to be asked to do it. I tell him just to look around. If something looks dirty, clean it. Exactly. I keep reminding him I'm not his mom and I should have to create a chore list for him. It's not difficult. Yeah, if you're a grown man and you don't know when the laundry needs to be done or when the house needs to be like dusted or vacuumed, like, you need to do a little better. Anyway, after a long week of work, I was fried and begged him to take over most of the cleaning this weekend. He understood and agreed. The next day I come home to find he has ordered a cleaning service to clean the house while he hung out for the day. I was upset with him and accused him of being lazy. He sounds like a lazy asshole. His reasoning was that he could see how stressed I was and wanted to give us an opportunity to relax together this weekend. I don't buy that at all. I was so pissed and did not talk to him for the rest of the day. We had a few fights over it, and he generally can't understand why I'm getting so mad at him buying a gift for the both of us. Oh, what a piece of shit. I'm that asshole for getting upset. I feel like this was trying to skirt a responsibility that I usually do myself almost every day. Is it too much to ask for him to take over the chores that day without having to pay someone to do it for him? He's 100% just trying to skirt responsibility. And cleaning services aren't cheap, so you should have probably discussed it with your wife if you wanted to hire a cleaning service instead. Since hiring a cleaning service on a regular basis seems to be the go-to solution for many people, I should add that we can't afford it. The one-time expense did not break the bank, but we definitely have to adjust our budget this month to account for it. And it is 100% not something we can afford going forward. Yeah, he's an asshole. He just didn't want to clean the house. And the one time she tried to force him to clean the house, instead of doing it when he had the day off, he just hired someone to do it for him. The clean was $500? That's insane. Update 3. Thank you for your inputs. I appreciate both the validation on how I was feeling and also opinions offering a different perspective from my own. This has been extremely helpful for me to read through all the comments. A couple of you suggested the webcomic you should have asked, and I showed it to my husband. He He's very receptive and understanding and is starting to better see my view in the situation. I also took into account. You suggested the webcomic you should have asked, and I showed it to my husband. Where was I? I also took into account some other things a few of you said, like his brain working differently and maybe not seeing a oh, fuck off. How about this? You clean the house once a week. You do the laundry once a week. You do the dishes every night. You don't need to be able to see the mess to fucking clean up the mess. I'm getting triggered and I live alone. Jesus Christ. Trouble seeing why I get so stressed over a little dirt, and those things don't bother or stand out to him as much. I just don't agree with this at all. Okay, but he did admit to not really taking care of his fair share of responsibilities. That's good. And going forward, we're going to have weekly meetings where we prioritize the chores / repairs the house needs, and each of us will take responsibility for separate things. I told him that if he has a defined list of things to do, that I will not be giving him reminders or cues to get them done. Do grown adults really need a chore list? We're also talking about doing more research into cheaper cleaning services in the area. No, you don't need to hire a cleaning service. If your budget is so stressed that you need to worry about budgeting it out to bring in a cleaning service, you can't afford the cleaning service. I feel like it's just so much easier just to clean your house once a week than hiring a cleaning service when your finances are already so stressed. At least everyone seems to agree that she's not the asshole. He never seems to do anything but dishes. If he did stuff and this is the only time he hired stuff, then I'd say not a big deal. But he consistently doesn't clean. Yeah, I don't need to go deeper into this. He's just the asshole. I really don't care what Reddit says. They seem to agree with me anyways. He's the asshole for never doing any of the cleaning. He's the asshole for not cleaning when you asked him to clean. And then he's the asshole for hiring a cleaning service for $500, getting ripped off behind your back so he could just continue to be lazy. Just like an asshole all around. What's the percent? 50% not the asshole. What? Oh no, okay, she's not the asshole. Good, yes. I was going to say that if the husband wasn't the asshole, that's insane. Okay, I'm an asshole for going home and my wife didn't let me into the delivery room. What? That seems messed up to leave your pregnant wife who's delivering your child alone at the hospital. But it also seems fucking weird not to be let into the delivery room. He is a 28-year-old man with a 29-year-old wife. She gave birth a few days ago. We had what I believe to be a fairly standard pregnancy, and I did my best to take care of things and make it easy for her. I took her to the hospital when she was due, and her sister and mother met us there. The problem started when she was taken into the delivery room. She asked the nurse that only her mother and sister be allowed in the delivery, and then told me that she wanted me to wait until I've delivered and calmed down before letting me into the room. I was kind of shocked and didn't want to make a scene, so I just said okay and sat down in the waiting room. We had not really discussed the plan for the hospital, and I had no reason to think I wouldn't be there when my son was born. That's so weird. Isn't like the big trope in movies is the husband is always like at work or something when the child's about to be born, and he's like trying to rush to the hospital to be in the room before it's born. And now the wife is just like, nah, I don't want you there. You can just wait in the waiting room. I texted her sister if she knew my wife was going to do this. She said no. I told her to ask if my wife was concerned about something because I don't consider myself someone who would have made a fuss or made things more difficult for her. She texted back after a while saying that my wife just doesn't want you to see her like this, and then added that she didn't agree with my wife and tried to convince her, but ultimately it was her choice and I should respect it. Why is he having this conversation with her sister instead of his wife? That seems weird. I guess he's texting her sister during the delivery because the delivery is taking a while. They came home about 9 hours later, and I was finally able to meet my son. What? Where do you have a delivery for 9 hours and are immediately discharged from the hospital? Don't you normally like stay a day or two in the hospital after a delivery? Make sure the child's fine? I've never had a kid, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works, right? When my wife's mother and sister left, she got very angry at me for leaving her at the hospital. I was angry too, but I told her that we can talk about this in a few days because she's just given birth. She wouldn't drop the subject, so I finally told her that she excluded me from the birth of my son for no reason. I didn't see the need to hang around a hospital waiting room for hours doing nothing, and that her own sister thinks, okay, bringing her sister into this is not the thing to do. Now you just got her sister and shit. She said there could have been complications and I needed to be there, to which I replied that I wouldn't have been there because she kept me out of the room and the doctors would have handled any problems anyways. I mean, not necessarily. If you're like the power of attorney, if there was like serious complications, they would have come to find you. She called me an inconsiderate asshole and has been talking short with me for several days. Her sister told me I should just apologize and move past it because it was a stressful time for my wife, but I think I'm owed a bigger apology first for how I was excluded from my own son birth. I think this is like the clear example for like everybody sucks here. I feel like so much leads up to the birth, and like you usually have like a birth plane and you prepare bags and stuff, that you kind of like have a discussion if you didn't want your husband in the room delivering his son. I'm trying to think of any reason why that would change all of a sudden. And like you don't want him to see you like that. Like you're married and you're about to have a child, he's going to see you way worse. He's going to see you covered in shit like puke when the kid shits on you. Like I don't think you being like sweaty and gross should affect him too much. Y'all just thought everything would go okay and didn't even think to like make sure you're on the same page about a major medical procedure bringing a person in the world? Bruh. Yeah, I don't know how this wasn't discussed beforehand. Not the asshole. If your wife didn't want you to be in the delivery room, there should have been discussed ahead of time. True. She essentially shut the door in your face and expects you to just have waited in the uncomfortable waiting room for 15 hours. That's not okay. I mean, I feel like that's okay. I don't feel like waiting in the hospital for your child to be born is unreasonable. I feel like how it was handled was fucking terrible. I feel like you should have been in the room. She came home with the baby 9 hours later, so all up, from the time she went to the hospital to the time she came home, took 15 hours for first birth. What do they do? Discharge her from the hospital the second the baby came out? Yeah, exactly. I don't understand. Babies being born, you're usually in the hospital for a couple of days. If you were discharged after 3 to 4 hours, it's an uncomplicated birth. Not all places have the same procedures. That's crazy to me. I don't feel like this is the full story. You guys didn't talk about any of this until the day of. What was your relationship with your wife been like? The delivery room was never discussed. It was just assumed that fathers would be there, and that's what happened. Yeah, I feel like everyone would just assume that the father's going to be in the room when you're giving the child, that they can be there. I feel like I'm pretty solid on everyone who sucks here. and I don't feel like there's any discussion that could make me change my mind. Just everyone sucks. Moving on. Am I the asshole for telling my husband to get a real job? I mean, it depends what kind of job he has now. My husband and I, 26 and 27, have been married for about 2 years. I'm currently doing my residency, and I work on average 60 to 70 hours per week. My husband used to be a project manager, a remarkable position for someone his age. I mean, not really. But about a year ago, he decided to quit his job to be a freelance illustrator. It was an incredibly rash decision in my opinion. But he said it was something he had been wanting to do for a long time. I want to be supportive, but this really isn't the best time for someone to be pursuing his passions. We want to have a baby soon, so we should be trying to save money, but he's buying all these expensive art supplies and tablets for his career. So far, he's had a few odd gigs for various companies, but his income is still far from stable, which is really concerning to me. And I really don't want to say this, but lately I feel like I've been losing respect for him. Like I'm coming home after a 10-hour shift, I see him in his little studio drawing pictures and having the time of his life. I guess I've become a bit resentful. The other day, I came home after a really long shift and I was exhausted. I asked him if he could wash my scrubs since I really couldn't move muscle. And he just said, later, I'm working right now. That really ticked me off because he was doodling in a sketchbook and he called it working. I told him that he wasn't working and was just making excuses, and he got pretty offended by that. He started ranting about how it was part of the process or something, and I got frustrated and told him that he needed to get a real job. I guess I should have said that because we ended up having an argument and he ignored me for the rest of the night. It's not that I have anything against art, I just think he should be doing something more productive since we want to start a family. Am I the asshole? I mean, how you said it, you're definitely the asshole. Like 100% asshole way of saying it. I don't think it's unreasonable to feel like quitting your job to pursue art when you're trying to buy a house and have a kid. That's completely irresponsible, especially if you didn't have a discussion beforehand with your wife. But when he's working, to tell him that he's not actually working and just to clean your clothes and that he needs to get a real job, that's kind of an asshole thing to do. How do you plan to raise a baby when you and your husband to be working an exhausting schedule of 60 hours a week in order to do so? I mean, people do that all the time, right? That's not insane. Not the asshole, your husband put the cart well before the horse and you have every reason to be resentful. I feel like it's so crazy to start an art career without having any of the supplies beforehand, without having any jobs lined up. I feel like that's a job he could have had on the side, and when business picked up then he could have transitioned into doing art full time instead of just completely abandoning ship and fucking quitting his job. Like, that seems insane to me, especially when you're trying to buy a house. I think there are two factors here. His job, it might look easy, but creative jobs are real work and can have tight deadlines. I make videos, banners, presentations. If my boyfriend saw me working, he might just see me playing around with a picture, but I can be stressed and dealing with technical issues for a video due tomorrow. So I agree, she's an asshole for how she said it and when she said it. If my boyfriend quit his job tomorrow without a backup plan and secure income, I'd feel extremely worried. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is all just repeating what I said. I feel like we're all on the same page. Everyone sucks here. You said it in probably the worst way possible, but he's also an asshole for quitting his job without having a conversation first. Wait, what? Am I the asshole for gifting my mom and her husband a book on cheating for their anniversary? How can you not be? Oh, and you're 16. Okay, a 16-year-old male, loved my 35-year-old mom, but when I was 10, she had an affair and left us. I visited her as often as I could, and she always seemed so happy when I was there, but I hated her new family, so I stopped visiting. Honestly, we rarely ever saw each other after, just for my birthday and events really. She wants us to be close, but I want nothing to do with her new husband, so I've kept my distance. Except on February 20th. My dad announced he'd be out on business till the 12th, and my grandparents are stuck visiting relatives in Italy, and so I really had nowhere to go. My mom jumped at the chance to have me stay with her. And just my luck, that's my mom's anniversary with her husband was on... I feel like I'm really stupid, or he's just not writing properly. Like, feels like he's missing words. Their anniversary is on Sunday, and he'll be there. I haven't had a good time here at all. So all I do is stay in my room doing homework or go out with friends to avoid family activities, because it sucks seeing how lovey-dovey she is with her husband and how they seem like the perfect family with their daughters. I mean, this seems like typical child of a divorced parent who has to spend time with the divorced parent who has moved on. The morning before our anniversary, she came to my bed and tried to cuddle with me like before she left us, but it made me angry, like we can't go back in time and pretend it's how it was. That's fair to feel that way. So I just pretended to be asleep and stayed curled up and frozen till she left. I started crying because of that, and I felt angry and snarky, and my mom majored in literature, so I got her a copy of Anna Karenina for her anniversary. That book's about a lady who leaves her husband and son for her lover. I've never read it, but I watched the movie with my girlfriend, and I hated it. The anniversary party was on Sunday. Everyone was having fun but me, and then people gave their gifts. I gave mine, and when my mom saw what it was, she seemed shocked, but she said thanks. The party ended like an hour after, but at night, when she was in a room, I heard her crying really loudly. So I kind of eavesdropped a little bit and heard her saying stuff about the book and me and her husband trying to calm her. The next day at breakfast, she left for work early before I woke up, and her husband straight up called me an asshole and other stuff for gifting them that. It's been a few days now, and my mom has barely talked to me. Honestly, I feel so wrong I made my mom cry, but at the same time, I don't want to be here, and she knows that. So am I really the asshole? Really? Yes, you're the asshole. So it is okay to feel upset about your situation and about your mother leaving her husband and like quote unquote abandoning you and getting a new family and looking like she moved on. It's fine to feel upset about that. But giving her a book about someone who broke up with her husband and did the exact same thing is definitely a fucking passive aggressive move and was 100% going to hurt her. I gave my mom the book to try to get it across to her that I hate being at her house. How are you not the asshole then? And being around her family, and that it hurts me to be there because I sympathize with the son from the movie, not because I want a train to run her over. Oh, so the mother dies in the book. That makes it even worse. Jesus Christ. I don't want my dad to go get back with my mom. He's happy with his fiance. My dad has his reasons for not wanting me to go to therapy. It's just being protective. I don't know much about that situation, but that just seems like an old person who's not comfortable with therapy. It seems like this kid needs to be in therapy. He definitely has issues he needs to deal with because he has a lot of resentment for his mother. Yes, I stopped visiting my mom because I hate her. No, because I hate her husband. But she had custody of me on weekends or breaks. She could have forced me to be with her, but since being with him or making him be with us whenever I did go to her was more important, she never tried anything beyond the bare minimum of going to big events. Wait, what? She could have forced me to be with her, but since being with... I feel like you would have hated her more if she forced you to be with her. You hate being with her, so why would she force you to be with her? are people saying you're not the asshole? Definitely not the asshole. For one, Anna Karina is a classic and a great gift. For another, if the shoe fits. What? Your mom had to face her past horrible behavior, and your gift caused her to have to confront the fact that her affair affects you negatively to this day. Her husband needs to stay the fuck out of it. If he says anything else to you, perhaps you should challenge him on it. Oh, so you'd be okay with your mom cheating on you and walking away from you and your kids for a new man? I hate Reddit sometimes. It seems like Reddit are just full of a bunch of kids. And I think it is pretty clear with their responses. Okay, so I get you're mad, but do you recall that Anna loses absolutely everything because she leaves her family and is torn away from her children because her legal husband refuses to let her see them, which is contrasted against her brother getting away with multiple affairs and not losing his status or children. And then she begins to lose her mind because she thinks her lover no longer wants her, so she kills herself. That's an extremely loaded gift. Did you really mean to imply with it that you hope her life falls apart like that? I don't blame you for being angry, but I think you should ask your dad about therapy. It's clear that you've been holding 6 years worth of pain inside, and that is not good for you. You're poisoning yourself with anger and sadness over what has happened. If you don't learn how to gently work it out of your system, you'll keep hurting yourself and people you do love. I expect there's still love for your mom there. It's just that you were sad and hurt that you did it. Yeah. It's also weird that your dad won't let you go to therapy. You clearly need therapy. You're clearly pretty fucking angry. Not the asshole. Oh my god. Okay, so what the mother did here is bad. She obviously shouldn't have cheated on your dad and shouldn't have left. I mean, I guess the divorce isn't bad, but cheating is bad, right? But also giving her that gift was an asshole move. I don't want to punish her, and I want to have a relationship with her. I just don't want it to be stipulated that I have to be around her husband and daughters too. I don't know if you can do that. Like, that's part of her family now. Like, you're kind of gonna have to get used to it. You have stepsisters. You're gonna kind of have to get used to it. I mean, people online seem to love their stepsisters, so I don't know what the issue is, but I feel like this is just like a teenager being a teenager. Of course you're the asshole. You were trying to be the asshole, 100%. I don't understand how the most upvoted ones were not the asshole. Not the asshole. That is delightfully petty. Delightfully petty is being the asshole. Like, what? Yeah, why do you think your dad wouldn't let you see a psychologist? That's a little more concerning in the situation. Me thinks there's a reason OP's mom cheated. I'm ready to be downvoted to fuck for that, but a red flag as big as the one OP just threw about his dad is not something to disregard at all. Oh, OP's mom was 19 when she had him. That's not an excuse for cheating, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if having gotten married and having a kid at that young, she felt trapped. Yeah, I feel like this situation is so murky. So I feel like the mom, asshole for cheating. I feel like she didn't need to cheat. I feel like if she wanted to leave her husband, she should have just done that before cheating. I think your dad is also the asshole for not letting you go to therapy because you clearly need it, because you're clearly fucking angry and super resentful of your mother. And he's the asshole for giving her that fucked up present on her anniversary. Especially in front of other people. That's messed up. But maybe the people at the party are as stupid as me and didn't realize what the book was. So yeah, I feel like that's just a clear everybody sucks. What were the percentages? It's going to be something super like 60% not the asshole. Because like there's a bunch of like 10-year-olds on Reddit. 59% not the asshole. I wish there was like an age breakdown of who voted for what. Only 26%, you're the asshole. 11% equally, everyone sucks. It should be like 80% everybody sucks. But yeah, I'm going to call it a night. Ugh, I've been doing this for too long. My voice hurts. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 Eastern. Maybe playing a game, maybe doing more of this. We'll see. Thanks for stopping by.